Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this academic debate on the use of generative AI tools in English classes. My name is Francy Parada. I will be the professor and moderator. She is Jhulyana Martinez and she will be the student, and Karoll Torregrosa, she will be the teacher. And please, for this activity, you should raise your hand when you want to talk. Thank you so much. To start, as a university professor with over 15 years of experience in language pedagogy, I witness daily how Gen AI is reshaping higher education, and not always for the better. Research from institutions like MIT and Cambridge already warns us about the erosion of deep learning when students outsource cognitive effort to machines. Today, our goal is not simply to discuss AI, but to critically negotiate where the line must be drawn between technological support and academic compromise. Let's introduce our panel. Please, Teacher Karoll.
Thank you, Professor. Today, I will be speaking from two crucial perspectives. First, as a language school teacher who works with mid-level groups every day, I can tell you firsthand that AI can provide differentiate instruction, and it can also give us an opportunity to have authentic practice without being intentional. And second, as an employer who regularly interview university graduates, I am increasingly concerned about candidates whose credentials don't match with the competencies that they say they have, because at the moment of defending, they don't show that they really have those competencies, and I believe that they are being too dependent on the AI.
Jhulyana.
Yes, thank you both. From a student's perspective, I see AI is one of the most transformative learning tools our generation has access to. It can explain grammar, provide vocabulary in context, and allow us to practice writing and speaking at any hour without fear of judgment. I also recognize, however, that these powers come with responsibility and that not all students use wisely.
Let's dive deeper into our positions. Stephen Krashen's input hypothesis tells us that language acquisition requires comprehensible, meaningful interaction, not automatic responses. AI can generate grammatically correct output, but it lacks with the sociolinguistic awareness to guide a learning through genuine communicative competence. Furthermore, Vygotsky's zone of proximal development reminds us that real learning happens through a scaffolded human interaction, something not algorithm can replicate. Teacher Carol, how does this align with your view as a school teacher?
It aligns with the theory, Professor, but I want to push further with classroom reality. As a teacher who works with students that are near a B2 level and students who are not near an A2 level, no single textbook, no single phase of instruction can serve all of them simultaneously. So GenAI can give differentiated tasks in seconds, and students, for example, students in an A2 level can receive an scaffolded activity, let's say fill in the blank activities. The other students that are near a B2 level, they can develop their debate skills, maybe through open writing. So I believe that the real risk is not using AI. The real risk is continuing to teach every learner as if they were all in the same level.
Juliana, it's your turn.
Yes, I agree with my personalization point completely. And I want to add something from personal experience. Students often lose when starting alone outside the classroom. AI is available 4 hours a day and can explain concepts repeatedly with frustration or judgment. When I struggle with complex structures like conditional or the passive voice, I can ask AI for multiple examples, compare them, and try my own version instantly. That kind of low stake, immediately practice of something a basic classroom simply cannot always offer.
Harold, do you have something to say about that?
Yes, I hear you, Juliana. And let me put on my second hat as an employer. The core issue is not convenience or availability because AI is available 24/7, but it's the fact that students are not developing critical thinking. I interview graduates regularly, and a growing number is submitting polished work they cannot explain or defend in conversation. Companies need professionals who can think independently, that can criticize the AI. Um, AI has been doing that cognitive work for years, so that muscles of their brains is just not developing.
You hit a crucial point as an employer. Let's address the core challenge directly. Academic integrity is not a bureaucratic concern, it is the foundation of education itself. In 2023, Stanford University found that over 60% of students admitted to using AI to complete written assignments without disclosure. If a student asks ChatGPT to write a full paragraph and submits it as their own, two failures occur simultaneously. The student has not acquired the skill, and the institution has issued as a credential that misrepresents their actual competence. This is not just an ethical problem, it is a systematic one. We are producing graduates who cannot perform what their diplomas claim they can. So, a student, what is your response?
Okay, I understand that concern deeply, Professor, and I don't dismiss it. But I want to respectfully reiterate students should not be at the blame when institutions have been slow to provide clear ethical frameworks for AI use. Technology has always influenced educations. We already use digital dictionaries, translation tools, and grammar checkers. The problem is never the tool itself, but the absence of guidance around it. Instead of reacting with bans, should universities not teach us how they use AI ethically, transparently and critically as part of the curriculum itself?
Carol, what do you think?
I partially agree with the ethical training argument, but as a teacher, I believe we must also address what cognitive science tells us. Psychologist Robert George research on desirable difficulty demonstrates that learning is more durable when it involves effortful retrieval. That means that when the brain struggles to get some information, it constructs meaning. And the moment the AI removes these, our brains are just not getting all the information or are not making all the learning process meaningful. So it removes the very neurological conditions for retention. So we are not retaining the information. I see this weekly. Students who use AI to polish their writing submit impressive tasks because we must admit that when they use the AI, their works and their tasks are impressive, but they are becoming very dependent and they are submitting these works as their own. And the real learning becomes invisible.
Juliana,
Okay,
what is your
that
point?
is that is a valid point, but only if we assume all AI use of is passive. What if we use AI to brainstorm ideas, identify our own grammar mistakes, receive pronunciation feedback, or compare different ways of expressing the same idea? In those cases, AI requires active cognitive engagement. The students is still doing the thinking. AI is simply providing more responsive, lower anxiety input that a textbook can.
That distinction is critical and must not be lost. Let's focus now on the specific opportunities Gen AI presents for language skills. A student, can you expand on how AI supports you in concrete areas of English learning?
Yes, AI is a particularly powerful for two areas than traditional classroom underserved: pronunciation and vocabulary acquisitions. Many students struggle with sounds that simply don't exist in their first language, and fear of embarrassment often prevents them from practicing in class. AI tools allow us to listen, repeat, and receive feedback repeatedly and preventively without anxiety. For vocabulary, AI instantly provide multiple examples of lexical chunks and collocation in real context, which accelerate the kind of deep lexical learning that isolate word lists never achieved.
Teacher Carol,
Well, those are genuine applications for the learner's autonomy, but let me really challenge you, Professor. Can we, as human teachers, human educators, honestly compete with AI's speed or the AI's availability 24/7 and the infinite patience?
no, Teacher Carol, we cannot and we should not try to. But let me be precise about what teachers provide that AI fundamentally cannot. We assess affect. We notice when a student is frustrated, disengaged, or struggling with something beyond grammar. We adapt not just content, but tone, encouragement, and challenge in real time. Jerome Brunner called this the intersubjective process. Learning is not merely information transfer, it is a human negotiation of meaning. AI process language, teacher cultivate learners. Those are entirely different acts. Now, teacher Carol, from your perspective as an employer, how should language classes adapt to genuinely prepare students for the modern workplace?
Okay. The World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report identifies critical thinking and AI collaboration as the two most demanded professional skills for the 2027. But here is the paradox. Employers live with of me as an employer. We are getting people who trust the AI blindly. And that is what we don't want. We want people who can interrogate the AI, people that use the AI but detect its errors and make sound judgments based on it. A graduate who has never been trained to evaluate AI or to use it in an ethical way is less employable than someone that doesn't have experience with the AI because they bring overconfidence without competence. They think that because they use the AI, they have all the answers and they are not being critical to what the AI provides. And we know that what the AI provides is not always true.
Through this debate, I have challenged AI's role sharply, and I maintain that those challenges are valid. However, I must be intellectually honest. Banning AI is as futile as banning the internet was in the 90s. The question is never about the tool. It is always about the pedagogy surrounding it. What I now advocate for is a structured framework. AI as a cognitive scaffold, never as a cognitive replacement. Institutions must assess not just what the students produce, but how they think. That is a non-negotiable standard we must protect. What is your position now, Teacher Carol?
Okay. As a
Sorry.
teacher, I fear AI would reduce students to passive consumer of generated content, and that concerns remains legitimate. But what has shift in my opinion is that the problem was never the tool. The problem is not the AI. The problem is that we are missing the pedagogical instructions to use the AI in a more ethical way. So AI becomes a mirror for metacognition and is not a shortcut around it. As an employer, I will hire a reflective AI literate graduate every single time.
Juliana,
Okay,
please.
I have also generally reevaluated my position. At the start of this debate, I focused mainly on AI's immediately benefits and personal conveniences. I now understand that cognitive dependency and academic dishonesty are real risks, not hypothetical ones. We, as students, must take active responsibility. That means using AI transparently, engaging critically with what it produces, and never allowing it to replace the effort that actually builds competence.
This is exactly of the kind of convergence a good debate should produce. We can reach a final collective agreement.
Yes, I agree. Let's state it clearly.
Agreed.
Gen AI should be integrated into English language education in a responsible, ethical, and pedagogically deliberate manner. What do you
I
think,
believe
Carol?
Well, I believe that institutions must establish clear guidelines that safeguard academic integrity and promote critical thinking, develop genuine linguistic competence, and build professional preparedness for AI-enabled workplace.
Juliana,
Because the impact of the technology ultimately depends not on the tool itself, but on the clarity of the framework around it and the responsibility of everyone who use it.
well concluded. When combined with sound teaching practices, transparent ethical guidelines, and active student ownership of learning, AI becomes a genuine asset, not a threat. Thank you all for this constructive and rigorous debate. See you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.